first ride on the new bike. I've been on it for a whole half hour and I am already fully convinced I've been hooked again by the gravel bike. And any previous comments about being sensible, finding it difficult to justify getting a gravel bike when you have a road bike and a mountain bike already, just forget those. My new opinion is that you should find a way to justify it, because this is so much fun. I feel so at home on the bike already. It feels great. I've only ridden 2 other gravel bikes, Mum's Ripple CGR and then friend's Titan Racing something or other, and this one fits me the best of all of them, but also just feels incredible. Over all the terrain I've covered so far, so bits of tar and then this dirt kind of single track and little things in between, it feels really, really capable, but also really quick. Sounds a bit silly to say, but when you push down the pedals it just goes, so I couldn't have hoped for it to feel any better than it does. And despite my comments about preferring SRAM for off-road riding, I must admit that Shimano is really holding up today. It's shifting beautifully, so keep an eye on that and see how it holds up long term. So I tried last night to set them up tubeless, but I couldn't get the tire to seat when I just did a dry run. So I didn't want to risk putting the sealant in and just making a mess, so thought I'd just chance it with the tubes. And then I discovered that I don't actually have any repairs for tubes anymore because I just run tubeless on everything. So Mum did suggest that I stop in at Halford's on the way out this morning, and my route did go past it, but I just couldn't really be bothered, so I'm just chancing it. Should be fine. And I also managed to find a Garmin mount, so got the Garmin on, but I haven't really been keeping an eye on it. In my excitement, I think I've been a little bit over zone 2, so I'll have to ease off a little bit for the rest of the ride. I'm supposed to be doing 3 hours in zone 2 today, so I've got a 67k route and I left at 8 and I'm leaving for placement at 1:45, so I should have plenty of time to finish the ride, even if it takes me a bit longer than 3 hours, but I'll take every minute I can on this bike. As long as my ride on Trading Peaks stays in green, I'll push the duration as far out as I can. So I made it to the end of the rail trail. I got to Hornsey and then a bit on the tar and then a slightly interesting section on the edge of a field. And now, for some mysterious reason, my back tire's gone a bit soft. So I'm gonna pump it up and hope it's just a slow leak. Yes. And I'm also just over an hour now, so time to get some fuel in. And I only use the top quality, high performance sports nutrition. So we've got a Mars bar. on the move, maybe briefly. I don't think it's holding too much pressure, but one thing to point out is that I'm back on the tar now and the bike feels amazing. Even with a soft back tire, it's flying along. It has started to rain a little bit, but luckily it's quite warm today, just over into the double-digit temperature, so it's not too bad. Yes, I can feel this tire losing pressure. Oh, to anyone who still runs tubes and is very anti-tubeless, what can I say? I just don't get it. I do one ride with tubes and I have a puncture. Last time I punctured on my tubeless tires, I was on my mountain bike back home on a very old tire and I just plugged it and carried on. On my road bike, the last time I punctured was last year, and again I plugged it and carried on. So yeah, I don't get it. The worst part of this is not the inconvenience of having to keep stopping and pumping it up, is that my mum's going to be very smug. Gone completely flat again, so it's not a slow puncture. I can hear it leaking, it's not a good sign, and the rain's come on a bit more heavily. So I'm just gonna get back as quickly as possible, and I might do the missing hour on the turbo. Quite funny, I just had, when I was stopped there pumping the tire, a guy came up and stopped to offer some help, and then we had a whole discussion about tubes and tubeless, and he was trying to argue for tubes while I was on the side of the road pumping up my tire, which I thought was really funny. But yeah, he was a nice guy, it was a funny chat. But yeah, I think the fastest route home is actually going to be to rejoin the rail trail, kind of just as a beeline back into Hull. So I'll do that and continue to stop every 3 minutes to pump up the tire. Oh, I'm really not looking forward to the comments from Mum. Back on the rail trail, just getting back somehow. It's really not holding pressure for long between pumps, and I've just got a message from Mum. She can see on my Garmin live tracking that I've changed my route, and she's wondering what's going on. Oh dear. I don't know if you're gonna believe this, but my front tire's going down too. Oh dear. I think the biggest takeaway from this ride is definitely not to listen to my mum. It's probably that the Panaracer Gravel King Sports are probably not gonna work for me, but also that it's under 10 degrees now, it's raining, I've got a double puncture, but I'm still having so much fun. Still got a grin plastered on my face at all times. So yeah, gravel bikes, definitely the way to go. A lot of people kind of dread having to get the winter bike out, but I think for me it might be the opposite. You might struggle to get me off this bike. So I'm very, very grateful for it and so excited for all the adventures I'm going to do on it. In the meantime, I must stop and pump up this tire, the back tire again. If anyone's interested, I'm using the Toe Peak Roadie TT Mini, which I really like because it's nice and small and I carry it with me on every ride. It also gets the job done, not very quickly, but it's, you know, it's pretty good. And most importantly, it locks onto the valve with a lever rather than screwing on. so it doesn't pull out the valve core like my old one did. So that's the pump that I am putting to very good use today. Oh, I'm feeling all the rocks and bumps. Nice autumn with the leaves falling and the rain. Oh, it is no longer holding any pressure. Not sure how I'm going to get back. So, the first time I've ever had to do it, but I've had to book an Uber to take me home. The tube is just not holding any pressure anymore. Yeah, so not too long of a wait, luckily. 8 minutes or so left because I am wet and it's a bit cold. So yeah, it puts a bit of time pressure for getting to placement on time. The driver drove past me, turned around and drove past me again. I think maybe saw the wet and muddy bike and decided not to stop for a lift, so left me standing in the cold. So yeah, waiting for a different driver now who hopefully will take me back because I'm getting a bit cold. Made it back. Second Uber driver worked out very well. But now Mum's already started with the I told you so's. But yeah, I should make it to placement on time and then I will hop on the turbo this evening and finish my ride. Just finishing up my ride now. Yeah, so that was my day. Not entirely how I expected to spend my new bike day, but I'm still very, very excited about it. And yeah, as I said before, I can't wait to see all the adventures I get up to on it.